Say hello to the camera.
Hello to the camera.
Go on then.
What?
Here we are.
Well, here we are, just coming up to 75 miles short of Edinburgh. This is where we come round to do our filming for our new DVD. I hope you all enjoy the DVD when it comes out. And I'll enjoy the drive while the sun's shining. That's it.
Yep, shining it is at last.
So you talk about caveman training and stuff. You look over to the right there, you can see the sea. I'll just get out of the way. Nice, pleasant countryside.
Yep.
Before we get to the tortuous parts of Scotland. So,
go on then, you're on about caveman diets.
Yeah, I don't know really what to say though. I mean, the caveman diet, we're talking about carbohydrates and stuff.
Yep. And the fact that they never supposedly ate any and only lived off meat and fats.
Well, the whole principle of the caveman diet, in my opinion, is that in the caveman days, there were days and weeks where you'd go without having any meat, and there were also times where you had extreme gluts of meat, where you caught your dinosaur or your saber-toothed tiger or whatever, and you had to eat it a certain amount of time. And so, if you look at the average week of hunting, it would be very similar to the Aborigines and people in these other countries now, where in the morning you get up and you feed with something like that's easy to handle, like fruits and berries, and maybe some, if you're lucky, maybe some roots and things with some carbohydrates, but mostly fruits and berries. So you're getting your energy levels up, ready for your day out hunting. Now sometimes people would be lucky and catch something on the way through, but other times you could possibly go a whole day foraging for more extra pieces of energy, like your beans and carbs and stuff from fruits. But then hopefully at the end of the day you catch your meat for the day or for the week if you're lucky enough to catch something big. So you eat there, and they used to eat and use as much of the animal that they caught as possible. So you save the wool for pelts, etc. As you see on these sort of survival type programs. But the meat was used and eaten and enjoyed quickly, so as not to attract other wild animals and stuff like that. And that's how, I mean, that's basically how it is. So if you look at things like the keto type diets, in effect they actually did work in those days, but without the huge weeks of going into ketosis. If you have your saber-toothed tiger come in with you, you know, you got a glut of meat. You had to eat as much of it fresh as you could, and other bits you'd eat dry and save for days when you went out for further hunting. Yeah, the same with fish and the proteins from that. So you've got a lot of your meats and stuff, your proteins from fresh and dried meats. You've got a lot of your energy from things like berries and stuff. So you were getting carbs in, but you weren't getting the extremes of carbs that you see the white potatoes and stuff. What would happen is you may forage for some roots to add to your vegetables, which gave you your starches, which is effectively what we're talking about with the carbs and ketosis.
So basically what you're saying is they were still eating quite a large amount of carbohydrates. The difference being that all the carbohydrates they ate were slow-acting carbohydrates.
The majority of them were slow-acting carbohydrates. The fruits and berries had sugars in them, which gave you your burst of energy, which is why they were generally eaten early in the mornings, pre-hunting. But the thing with all the carbohydrates and the fats that you have, they were used as energy in a much more rich way. So you were. Yeah, it's like the Eskimos. An Eskimo, you know, they eat all this whale blubber and all the fats from all these types of products, and they don't suffer with the same saturated fat type related diseases of today, because the majority of what they were using and taking in was being burnt up and used as an extra source while they were in ketosis. So what we look at today in ketosis is the fat burning part of it.
Yeah.
But if you look at the energy burning part altogether, ketosis or what we know as ketosis now is also the input of fats that you're eating throughout the day. So if you're an Eskimo and you have to eat 5,000 or 6,000 calories a day just to survive, you can eat that in fat because the fat levels are burning up anyway, and it's a very quickly converted source of energy.
So one of the biggest problems that people have now with high fat diets is the simple fact then that they're actually not moving around enough.
They're not utilising the fats
and
enough.
this is why they're actually struggling with the diets.
Yes, exactly. I mean, in a large percentage, a lot of people nowadays, I mean, the fatter people, not necessarily bodybuilders or weight training people or whatever, the problem that they have is that they have an extreme glut of things. Like my wife likes potatoes. She enjoys eating potatoes. Me, I don't like potatoes, so it doesn't worry me too much. But she likes sweet potatoes, or where we live in Portugal now, everyone has big plates of bread with their diets, and you're getting a lot of very, very pale carbohydrates in you, and they are not used up effectively. If you use slow-release carbohydrates and you have something where your energy level, if you knew you were not going to eat for large amounts of the day, then slow-release carbohydrates are a necessity. Or if you were a marathon runner, off on. If you knew you were a marathon runner, for example, they need to have a constant supply of energy, so it needs to be slow-burning energy that they have. But going back to the ketosis side of things, because people were asking about that recently on the forum. Ketosis should still be about, or the keto diet should be about taking in good, healthy sources of protein, good, healthy sources of green vegetables and leafy vegetables, because you still need to get essential vitamins and minerals into the body. You also need to be looking and thinking about your fats. Now, there are levels of good fats, omega-3s, 6s, etc. And then you have what everyone looks at as the saturated fats. There's nothing wrong with the saturated fats that you have in healthy fats, healthy beef. Beef fat is great, you know. That type of fat there is nothing wrong with that in your diet. The problem is that people seem to think that as soon as you go onto a keto-based diet, you can eat fried bacon and you know,
processed junk.
Yeah, exactly. There was one person recently was talking about pork scratchings in their diet. Now, I like a pork scratching or two in a pint, but that's not me trying to be in ketosis. That's just me being a pig, generally. But that's basically what these people think they're doing. They think
swapping one comfort food for another.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is the whole process all the time. It's just, in my opinion, is where they miss out the whole principle of it.
And you could say that same thing that's being said for a lot of the books that are being written, because they keep going back to the caveman style diet, and you read the books and it's basically just fats and protein. And I would probably say excessive amounts of protein that they're suggesting that people eat.
But the excessive amounts of the wrong sorts of protein are the problem nowadays as well. People are taking in different areas of it. You have the problem with all of these things is that moderation is the key to everything, in my opinion. So there's nothing wrong with if you want to go into ketosis, then you have to follow a fairly strict level, and you have to balance it out, and you have to use your keto sticks and stuff to see if you're in ketosis, etc. But once you're there, in the caveman days, it was something that would last. You would have to be awfully unlucky to not be able to catch some meat and stuff, or so you would be in ketosis while you had your meat there. You would be eating a glut of meats and stuff. But the rest of the time, when you were out and you needed to work around your food levels, or you had time to farm and as later on, not farm, but scavenge for roots and greens and vegetables and things, there was enough starch coming in from things like certainly in the African type countries and the jungles and stuff, you used to get your yams and your roots that way. From Brazil, you get cassava and things like that.
Well, even over here, they used to eat rushes, the roots from the rushes.
Here, there are masses and masses of roots that are usable. I mean, we look at carrots and things now, and there's a grown and harvested vegetable, but they had to come from somewhere. Okay, I mean, some were brought in, like the potato, etc., were brought in from other countries, but we had other roots that were available then, and we learned how to use them.